This lecture is an extension and a piggyback from the second part of the previous lectures about consistency, and this is adding on to the discussion of cognitive dissonance theory, focusing here specifically on dissonance reduction strategies. As I say, who are you kidding? Because when people experience cognitive dissonance, they will often find ways to reduce that, which we've already discussed. But what I want to review and reiterate are the 4 strategies the book discusses that people may use as a way to reduce cognitive dissonance. The first of these is denial, which of course, as you know, was not merely a waterway in Egypt. All right. So when somebody experiences or denial, or they reduce their dissonance through denial, there's somebody who perceives no imbalance. What I mean by no imbalance is they don't see or feel any imbalance between dissonant and consonant thoughts. They don't really think that there's any sort of a problem with their behavior and it conflicting with other beliefs or attitudes that they share. So as I say, they don't have any dissonant thoughts. These are the people who say, it's okay that I have a few drinks and drive because I'm somebody who knows how to hold their liquor when they drive, which, by the way, we have studies that show that people who say that and feel very competent behind the wheel, in fact, on a road test, run into objects and have poor stopping time. So it's not true. These are the same people who say, well, I am one of those people who's good enough, I can multitask well enough, that I can check my text messages and drive safely. Again, we know that's not true, and in fact, people who text while driving, in fact, have poorer response times than people who have been drinking and driving, right? So these are people who don't even see that there's a conflict between what it is they want to do and other values or beliefs they have. They just don't even, for them, that conflict doesn't exist, right? So basically, it's no problem. I mean, except for the part where, you know, they're in denial because there really is a problem. Right? Your book uses the example of smoking. They're denying the risk of smoking when it's, I mean, the risk of smoking are there, right? So these are people who just refuse to look at and consider the possibility that their choices are creating some dissonance. Right? So that's how they reduce the dissonance, is they just don't recognize it. Then we move on to bolstering. So in bolstering, a person recognizes a choice they're making is not consonant, therefore they're experiencing dissonance, with something else they believe in or have committed to. So as an example for these next 3 options, let's just have a scenario where we say a person has decided they're going to stop drinking alcohol. Now they're not going to drink alcohol, and it's because of a health reason, it's because of a religious reason, it's because of they're an athlete and have promised their coach or trainer they wouldn't drink. They're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't feel comfortable being with somebody who drinks, and they promise they won't. Whatever reason, the person said, I am not going to drink alcohol. Okay? So in bolstering, if a person then ends up consuming alcohol, what they do is they find a way to increase consonant thoughts. Right? And so this is about like using good reasons to balance out the bad reasons. So in this case, a person recognizes they're drinking alcohol and they said they weren't going to drink alcohol. So they're not in denial, they get it. They said they weren't going to drink alcohol and here they're drinking alcohol. But what they do is they make up good reasons why it's okay. It's the response of, sure, but it's okay because, right? So sure, I'm breaking my promise to not drink alcohol, but it's okay because really alcohol can have some good health effects, so it's not so bad for my body. Or yes, I'm drinking alcohol, but it's okay. My trainer doesn't like it because of the calories, but I'm going to do extra exercises, so I'm going to burn it off. Or sure, people don't always like it when I drink, but I think it makes me feel more comfortable, and if I'm more comfortable, then I'm a nicer person, right? Whatever it might be. But the point is the person's recognizing they're breaking the rule they have with themselves, right? They're experiencing dissonance, and they're just coming up with the things that make it okay. So the thing I'm doing is bad, but it's okay for these other reasons. It's balancing out. And I keep using the word balancing because if we think way back, the lecture you had from me on cognitive dissonance, you might remember I said something about cognitive dissonance occurs when there's a ratio between consonant and dissonant thoughts, right? We're talking about that ratio, right, between things that we don't feel good about and the things that we do feel good about. And that's what a person's done, is they're shifting So they've done something they're not supposed to do, but they're trying to, on the other end of that scale, if you will, create other good things that balance out the bad thing they're doing. Right? So that's bolstering. A third strategy is transcendence, which is similar but importantly different from bolstering. And this is where somebody decides that the thing they've done, which is creates dissonance, it's a violation of the rule, in this case drinking, is okay because there's something that surpasses all other rules you could possibly have. So in this case, the dissonant thought is less important than some other thing. So it's the example of, I don't care because it's more important to blank. And so somebody says to you, but you weren't going to be drinking anymore. And then here you are having a drink and you say, yes, but we're here at a wedding and it's more important that I celebrate my good friends at their wedding and raise a glass to them and toast them a long, happy life together. It's more important I do that than I worry about my health at this moment. Or, really it's more important to show people you love them than to hold to strict rules of your religious faith. Or it's more important that I be able to express my affection to my friends than I live in the fear of somebody else who doesn't want me drinking. Right? So transcendence is where you say that though I said I wouldn't be drinking, there is one thing that makes this drinking sort of pale in comparison. Just different from bolstering. Bolstering is, well, what I'm doing is not good, but it sort of is balanced out by these other things. This is saying, who cares if I'm breaking the rule? There's a higher calling, a higher standard that makes it okay for me to break my rule. And then we come to the fourth strategy. And the fourth strategy is only loosely related to denial. But this is where a person distinguishes, if you will, good from bad. They distinguish the dissonant things from the consonant things. As this person will explain to you why it is the thing they've done doesn't actually create dissonance. What you might think it does, but it doesn't really, right? So this person says, it's not really a problem because this is different from that. In the drinking example, you say to the person, but you said that you weren't going to drink. They said, you're right. I said I wasn't going to drink. But this is just me having like a glass of champagne at a wedding. This isn't drinking, because drinking, when people talk about going out and drinking, they're talking about shots and beer funnels and keg stands. Can you tell I never went to a kegger? I don't actually know what goes on there, right? But the idea of, no, this is me having a glass of champagne. That's like having a few sips of some alcohol. It's not like drinking, which is going and consuming a bunch of alcohol, right? So the person is differentiating what they're doing from the thing they said they wouldn't do, right? So it's distinguishing what's consonant, consistent with their promise, which is just having a few sips of champagne or a glass of champagne, from drinking, which would be dissonant because it would actually be breaking the rule of not having alcohol. I hope that helps and makes sense, and this might be something useful to review for the exam.